right? We're going to go ahead and put these wires or tidy up these wires now. And this is kind of an art in itself. Notice that I want to keep them out of the flywheels. So I want to kind of bunch them up here at the top, right? And if I can, right, maybe strap them here, right, with a piece of tape here and here, right, so that I can keep them out of the flywheel and out of the commutator. All right. So let's see how flat I can get this. I probably want to put these to the side of these straps. Right, one here. This is the black wire, should go onto that side, red on this side. Right. The orange wire comes, or gray, orange-gray comes up from that side, so right there. Orange-gray from that side right there. So I could probably get them right in there. That would be good. And I got the little black and little red. Let's see if I can squish them around a little bit. Let's put a piece of tape up over the motor. So a piece of Captain over the motor. All right. Get the wire out of there. All right, so let's cut us off a piece of Captain tape. Doesn't have to be much, just has to be up and over the motor. Right? So, moving my penny. Right? And we can just use an X-Acto knife to cut it. Need a little pair of scissors or something sitting around here. Okay, now I'm going to go back and kind of dress those again, right, as best I can. And let's kind of lay this over the top of them. Let's do one at a time. Do this side, right? Pull it down over the motor. Do this side, pull it down over the motor, just like that. Okay. Now let's trim them up here. We don't need all this extra. So trim that side, trim this side up. All right. Get that all trimmed up, and now we can put this weight on it. And I got to be real careful. Look here. See how close I am to the decoder there? All right. I kind of pull that out of the way. Let's put this on. There you go. Now there should not be any wires in the motor. There's not. You can see up inside of there. Right? Everything's nice and tidy. And the only thing that's left, right, to work on now is the headlight. Here's the 2 wires for the headlight. So we're almost done. Okay, for the headlight, we're going to use a white LED. All right, and I want to put it right in the nose of this. The way that it's set in there originally was it sets up in the cab and it lights the whole cab and the nose, and that's not very realistic. So I want to put one right in the nose of this. It looks like I can use a 3mm LED, and so I'm going to pull out of my stock here, the 3mm LED. Typically, this is a later version. I'm going to go ahead and use an inexpensive. This is a white one. All right. It says it has reverse leads on it. I'll show you what that means in just a second. Typically, we would use these for our installs and not for give them to a customer for them to use for installs, because they wouldn't understand what a reverse lead is. As you look at this, I'll kind of explain it to you. As you look at this LED, and I'm going to bring it up here where we can see real close. There's a large flag here, and then there's a small pedestal over here. The large flag is typically the negative, and the pedestal is typically the positive. Well, the other thing to note, oh, that works pretty good. The other thing to note is that the long lead here is positive, okay, and the small lead is negative. Oops, that's reverse of the way that the flag and the stand are inside of this. Some of them you can't see inside, so you wouldn't even know that, and you have to go by this. But remember, we're going to cut these off. So the fact that this one's longer than this, we're going to take advantage of the fact that this is the positive, and you'll see this in just a second. The positive is always the blue wire, and then this will be the white wire with a resistor. Always, 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 always with a resistor. Okay. So let's go ahead and cut this lead. This is the lead that we want to cut. We put the resistor on the negative side because the blue is typically a bus that goes throughout the engine. Right? So you want to maintain that. Now, the question is, where are we going to put this? Well, since this cap kind of rolls up on top of there, we could put a connector in here. We could put this right here and let the cap go on top of that. That would be preferred. We'd have to know exactly where it is, though. Right? Or we could put it up in the, set it down in there and stayed. The other option is to go ahead and glue it or tape it up inside, right in the nose, right? And then just run the leads from there down. We've got plenty of wire here. It's not going to get in the running gear if we do it like this. Okay. So we could, and we have enough here that we can actually put it up inside there like that. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and hook the blue wire first. Okay, I'm going to turn my heat down because I had it up there. I ruined a lot of fingernails by doing that. Just pull the insulation off with your fingernails. For years I did it that way. It's okay when you're trying to do things quick, I guess. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some insulation on this. So I want a piece of shrink tube, right? Just a small piece. I don't need very big. I'm going to put it on the wire. I'm going to cut this wire down. I pulled too much insulation off there. I just want a piece of insulation or a piece of wire that's as long as that little stub I've got left from the LED. So I'm going to cut that off. Right? I'm going to attempt to hold this in my hand. Now, I know, since I've done this before, that this is going to get hot quick. Right? Let's see, get my... So we're going to hold it by that lead. Right? Kind of paint it a little bit. Okay. Now I'm going to hold the other one up there with this hand, grasping this one too. And I did put the shrink tube under, didn't I? No, I didn't. All right. Or it fell off. Make sure you get the shrink tube on there. It fell off, didn't it? Okay. Fairly close together. And go ahead and apply the soldering iron. Just like that. You can grab the plastic. The plastic's not going to get hot. All right, we're ready. And da-dum. Just like that. All right, now the other one's a little bit tougher. We got to put a resistor on it. You can do the math on these. The math says that you can use a Some people will tell you a 470 ohm resistor. When I did the math, it came out like a 750 or 570. So I have a whole bunch of those resistors. Lately I've been using this resistor, and it's a, let me get it up closer where you can see it. All right, this is an eighth ohm, or eighth ohm, an eighth watt. And if you see the colors there, it's brown, which is 1, orange, which is 3, and red, which is 2. So that's 1.3 kiloohms, 1.300. So the 2 there means 2 zeros. 1.3 kiloohms, right? Which seems high, seems awful high, but you'll see in a moment it's not that bad. And the real secret here is the fact this is an eighth of a watt, and look at how small it is. So we can cut this off. I'm going to go ahead and cut the other side off of this LED like that. All right, and we're going to go ahead and solder this directly to the LED. And they sell LEDs that already have a resistor on them, but if you don't know what resistor they soldered onto it, right, you're better off not buying it, because typically they're going to solder resistors on there for toys. 9-volt battery is typical, and so 470 ohm resistor is fine for that. It's not good for what we're doing here because this is 13 volts, and so you want to be able to drop almost 10 volts, right? That resistor wouldn't drop 10 volts, 470 ohms. So while it may be okay for 9 volts, it's not good for 13 or higher because you need to drop that. You get a little schmutz on there, but see, this is on there solid. And try to get it inside of the 2 if you can. I'm going to try to do this one more time and get the schmutz off there. And of course when you do that, then it breaks all apart. I'm going to put it inside of it like this. There you go. And you'll see why in a second. All right, now it's ready to go. I can go ahead and clip this. I can put the white wire on there, but before I put the white wire on there, I want a piece of shrink that's going to go over this piece too. So it's going to be a little bit bigger. Right? I use 3/32. All right, so that's a 3/32 shrink tube. See, it'll go over that easily. I may have even been able to use a smaller one, but that'll go over there easily. And I probably don't need that much, but I'm going to leave it. I put that on my white wire. Okay, we're going to go ahead and strip this off here just a little bit. I used my fingers again, didn't I? That's kind of a bad habit. All right. Now we're going to go ahead and put a little bit more on the wire. And again, I'm showing this in this video. I probably could do this in separate videos and then bring them all together. But this is a very classic decoder install, and so I wanted to show this because I've seen a lot of other people do it, and they, quite frankly, don't know what they're doing. So here we go. And now we're just going to go ahead and put this over it. Come on. Like that. And there's your LED. We can even test it here on analog, believe it or not. Minus on the left side, plus on the right side, right? Get us some voltage, and there you go. Right? There it is. Okay, so it's up and running, ready to go. All right, I'm going to turn my soldering iron off, turn my power supply off, and we're ready to go DCC. Notice I've given myself enough wire here that I can either do it this way, right, and tape this to the top. See where that goes. Actually, interesting. This whole thing flips up a little bit. Right? Oh, I need to see. I didn't do this with a hair dryer. All right. And it might go right there. We could actually pull this tape up and look. Let's pull this tape up and put it right there at the nose. And we can pull this up and pull this back to the wire, right there. Put another piece of tape on there if we wanted, but we can just put this on top. And we should be able to put this on there, and we're ready to go. See where the light bulb is. Okay, so we're looking at it here. Right, the light bulb could be up closer to the front. Looks like it could actually stick over this end here. So let's do that. Let's put it all the way up here, just like that. Perfect. And this way you don't have to worry about the shell and wires to the shell, and you can take the shell off and make it something else. Make it another railroad name if you wanted to. Paint it with your own numbers and not have to worry about the decoder installation. What happened here? Okay, so we're going to have to add the couplers back on. Right? We've got some other issues we're going to deal with here in a second. Cool. All right. Okay, so now we're ready to go to DCC. I'm going to, you can't really see this. Maybe one day we'll figure out how to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and go into programming mode. And I'm going to ask it to display the address, and it says it's 3. So then I'm going to go to out of programming mode, and I'm going to go to loco and 3 and loco, and I have another loco 3 on the track here, so let's try not to get them confused or not do too much. That's a power plus. All right, and here we go. All right. So I'm going to try to turn the light on, and the light comes on and off like it's supposed to, and we're going to run. There you go, that's forward, right, backwards, okay, forward, and the light comes on. So we're good to go. Good to go. Alrighty then. Ready to add the other stuff on it. Go ahead and disconnect the track. Put the track away now for the moment. Let's look at some things like I can see here where the side frame This has got a indentation. These side frames, these ladders are hitting the side frames as it goes from side to side, and so that's not good. I'll take this off again. Take a look. This doesn't really connect in any way, shape, or form to this, other than through the couplers. So that's a disadvantage here. But what we're going to do on these ladders is what I usually do is I heat them up, and then I use a very, very gradual approach to bend them. So we're going to heat them a little bit. See if they're, oh yeah, they're hot, they're warm. Okay, I'm just going to bend them just a little bit. Notice I'm taking my time, ever so slowly. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. There's not much of a bend there. Doesn't take much. These are getting awful hot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pair of flat pliers, if I can't just ease it over. You can tell if I'm bending it there or not. Okay, just a little bit. Sometimes you have to go too far to make it bend. And of course, I would advise the customer that he could cut these off. So there's too much in the way. About 15 seconds. Oh yeah. Yeah. And there you can tell on that one that's bent over quite a bit on that one. And that's typically what you want. You want to bend over. So I got one more to go here. So I'll do that and come back. All right, we're back again, and we're going to finish up on this this Athearn engine. It's an FA. And we need to put couplers on it, and we also need to change the wheels. Now, the wheel change is just taking the wheels out and replacing them. So I wanted to go through the mechanism here for taking the wheels out. There is a space, and let's see if I can get it up close here. If you look, there's a space between this this wheel right here and this little loop. If you can turn it up here, you can see the loop here. And if you get the right size screwdriver, right? This may not be. This looks a little big. Get the right size screwdriver. You can get it in between those two, or you can get it up in here, and all you have to do is twist it, and these covers will come loose from the wheel. So hold on till I try to do this. twisting it, pulls it away from that cover. And I need the next smaller size down from that. Hold on. This is even a different manufacturer, but when you get the right size screwdriver, it works pretty quick. Well, that's not working either. Let me find the right one here. I think it's this one. Yep. So that's the right size. Now, what does it say on here? Does it have a size? Well, whatever size that is, it's the right size. But you can figure it out, and you put it in there and just twist. Right? See the cover starting to come off. One more, right? And a 3 out of 4, and they're off. So this is what the inside of it looks like. Here's again those centered brass bearings on these. And so now we're going to take these apart and replace the wheel sets. Now we've got wheel sets here from our friends at Northwest Shortline. And these are 40-inch wheels, 110 tread, made specifically for Athearn. It says frame Athearn with metal side frames. All right. Or Genesis. And these are split wheels. Okay, so we're ready to do this. And what I'm going to do is just take one out and do it, and then I'm going to do the rest off camera. So if I take one of these wheel sets out, like that, right? And you can see how they're connected in here, right? And you can just twist them out like this, right? Twist that one out. Twist this one out. Oop, lost the little bearing, right? Don't lose the bearing. And the bearing. Now the only thing we're going to replace are these wheels. And we're going to replace them with this. They look like they're exactly the same, except notice they have a different shine to them. These are shown as nickel silver. They've got a high brass or high copper content to them. Right? So we're going to take these two, the new ones, right? We're going to put the centered brass, put the axle gear on, right? Put the centered brass on the other side. Kind of straightforward, right? Centered brass, okay? Now, the other thing that you need here is you're going to need a gauge, right? So this is a gauge for the wheels. And if you push them in, you can push them in too far. So you kind of want to watch that there's a space in between the centered brass and this. And now push the other one in, right? To get that space. And I've done so many of these, I pretty much know what it is. And right on, right dead on, right, for that particular one. Okay? Go do likewise. Also, the other thing is, since these are picking up voltage from both sides, you want to use the conductive lubricant and put a drop of conductive lube on both of those. So that'll both lubricate and do pickup. And then put it back in, and again make sure that the little square centered brass bearings, sleeve bearings, right, fall into the hole. Yeah, just like that. And like that. So I just use a screwdriver or use something else to rotate them. It's almost impossible to do it with your hands. All right, there you go. And invariably the other one comes out. Perfect. All right. Let me finish up the rest of those and then I'll come back. Alrighty, so we fixed the wheel sets. Now we're going to put these back on, and when you put the pans back on these, they'll snap into place. But one of the things you have to make sure is that the plastic is between the sintered brass and the and they sit right in there like that. Sometimes when you put them on, you can actually pinch, and they'll snap in place, but they will pinch down one of the sintered brass bearings, so you want to make sure that that doesn't happen. So they're all in place, and I have used conductive lube on all of these bearings, right, so that they have electrical pickup. And the only other thing we need to do now is put the couplers on, and these particular couplers are just snap-on. So here's the spring, right, for the coupler. Here's the coupler top, and so it kind of goes in this direction. Right, the spring goes this way. The coupler goes in here, right? And this just goes into the pocket, and this whole thing closes over the pocket, and the little tab goes towards the front, and it just goes like that, and done. Okay, and we'll want to do the same thing for the back, right? So we have the coupler and the pocket and the other part, and we're done. Yay! Ordinarily, I would check if we put this on a track. I would check for the height of the coupler. This was a customer installed coupler, and not something that he asked for, but ordinarily he didn't ask for other stuff that I've done too. Should be all ready to go. Thanks for watching.